2 years ago, it was just a forest, but now in Kutupalong, Bangladesh, there are 1 million Rohingya refugees. They fled massacres in Myanmar, half of them are minors. There is no proper school for them, so with limited resources, they have fashioned makeshift learning centres.
It's hard to teach in these conditions. We only have 2 hours of classes a day, and we do 4 subjects, so 30 minutes for each. I deal with it, but sometimes the children are disruptive, so it's not always easy.
The Rohingya say they have very little hope of returning to Myanmar, but at the same time, Bangladesh says they cannot stay here and forbids them from learning the local language.
We don't teach them Bengali. They don't need it. They don't have the right to leave the camp, so it doesn't help them. If they knew the language, they could go anywhere in Bangladesh, but that's not possible. They're Burmese. They don't have the right.
The camp is effectively a jail. After the age of 12, children are no longer given classes. Yet many dream of further study, like 17-year-old Hamid, who would like to learn Bengali. For him, this forbidden language is his only chance of escaping the camp.
If we do not learn in Bangla, I went to Cosbazar. The police and army asked me, what can I answer for police and Sharbahani? I do not tell in Bangla, so I went to learn Bangla to answer for them.
To be able to work one day, the only hope is to get out. But there is slim hope of this for girls. From puberty, they are forced to stay in their tents. The NGO Save the Children is trying to school them at home.
When we begin our period, we can't go outside because boys will see us, so it's better to study at home rather than at school.
The Rohingya practice a conservative form of Islam, and in the closed world of the camp, these customs continue.
In Burma, we wore the burqa and we stayed at home. Here, we do the same thing.
We have to stay at home, otherwise men will see us. It would be a sin.
In Kutupalong, only 2% of adolescent girls receive homeschooling. As a consequence, religion takes a disproportionate role. Yazin Habib is the local representative of Hefazat-e-Islam, a religious organisation that is influential in Bangladesh. He takes us to one of his Islamic schools.
In this refugee camp, there are no fewer than 1,500 madrasas. Here, they're given basic education and knowledge of the Quran. We developed their education because if we didn't, the Rohingya would never learn morals. They would lose their ethics. It's very important to educate them.
Hefazat-e-Islam claims to educate more than half of the Rohingya children in the camp, 350,000 students, and only one book on the curriculum, the Quran, to be learnt by heart.
This little girl has already read the Quran 3 times in an absolutely pure way. I hope she'll be a good student and that she'll be able to memorize all of its verses. They study the Quran from 7 to 9 in the morning. Then after school, they come back from 2 to 4 and then 6 to 8. It's 6 hours of Quranic study every day.
Some children spend up to 12 hours a day studying the Quran. Hefazat-e-Islam advocates, among other things, the death penalty for blasphemers. The proposal was rejected by the government, but the authorities recognize the Islamic degrees issued by the organization as legitimate. Today, the camp has organized a fair for the children. The head of the camp claims it is the Rohingya that have chosen to prioritize religion, and he respects that choice.
The children also go to the maktabs, the traditional religious schools. So this is what they used to attend on the other side of the Myanmar. Even children in Bangladesh, they also go to maktabs. But these are not contradictory. So we don't say no to the community, okay? Because this is not, you see, something that is in contradiction with the principles of the government.
Due to their circumstance, a generation of Rohingya is growing up in Bangladesh without being taught to read or write. All they know is Islam, and in this environment, Hefazat-e-Islam's following will continue to grow.